This is one of those cases where American English makes way more sense. I'm with you guys on this one. Colonel is one of the higher ranks found in militaries across the globe, and while many of us are familiar with this title and have a good understanding of it, there's something weird going on with it too, and that has to do with how this word is presented in the written form. Of course, when we say this title, we pronounce it as Colonel, like the name we use for a singular bit of corn. That food's name is spelt Kernel. You would logically think that Colonel, as in the military rank, would have a similar spelling, but of course, that isn't the case. Colonel isn't spelt anything like the popped corn kind of kernel. Instead, it is spelt Colonel. At face value, this should sound nothing like Colonel, and instead it should more be pronounced like Colonel or something. Colonel has to be one of English's most confusing words when you compare how it's pronounced versus how it's spelt. So, what's up with this? How did we end up with spelling this word this way? Well, seemingly, we have two languages to blame for English's bizarre choice in the spelling of this word, French and Italian. The word has its ultimate origins, unsurprisingly, in Latin with their word of columna, which meant a column. This was in relation to the idea that a colonel was the leader of a line or column of soldiers. This Latin word eventually morphed into colonnella in Italian, and then from Italian it became colonel in French. It's this French form that we first see the word feature an R sound as it does in English today. So it should come as no real surprise to hear that the word entered English via French, where it was first spelt as coronel in Older English. This Older English spelling of the word makes way more sense with the modern pronunciation of the word. Yet of course, things didn't stay that way. Something clearly happened which resulted in the spelling in English taking a step backwards, and the R in the written form being replaced with an L. Before we continue, I'd like to briefly talk about Patreon and Super Thanks. Patreon is the best way to financially support Name Explain, and donating just $1 a month gets you ad-free videos, a chance to say what names get explained, an exclusive monthly newsletter, and your name at the end of these videos. All of that can be found at patreon.com/nameexplain, which will be linked down below. Conversely, if you want to make a one-time donation, you can leave a super thanks directly in the comments section of any of my videos here on YouTube. They help out tremendously too. Thank you. So, as we established, the word colonel came to English via French, but the French word came from Italian, and while the French used an R, the Italian version featured an L-like sound. It was this Italian form of the word which inspired the modern English spelling. At some point in the 16th century, English scholars decided to use the Italian spelling for military words. Why this happened, I have no idea. Maybe it's due to Italians' ties with Latin, and that language being the one scholars like to use when they want to seem all fancy and stuff. This resulted in the Colonel spelling we use today in English. This puts the word in a really odd spot. Its pronunciation derives from French, while its spelling comes from Italian. Like I said, Colonel's mismatched spelling and pronunciation all come down to those languages of French and Italian having a weird influence on the language. I'm amazed American English didn't sort this one out or anything like it did with so many other words that have weird spellings in British English. But speaking of differences between British and American English, there's actually another word I want to cover in all of this. That being another military title too, one that is spelt Lieutenant. In American English, this one is simply pronounced as lieutenant, while in British English we go with lieutenant. Yeah, this might come as a shock to some Americans, and you know what, even maybe some British people who didn't know that's how you're supposed to pronounce it here. I only found out it was pronounced lieutenant here a few years ago. I was like, what? Lieutenant? That's stupid. Lieutenant makes all the sense in the world. This is one of those cases where American English makes way more sense. I'm with you guys on this one. We don't seem to know why exactly it's pronounced like that in British English. The American English pronunciation makes all the sense in the world. The word itself comes from the term lieu, meaning place, and tenant, meaning to hold. It all derives from French, and the best answer I could find in regards to the British pronunciation of it has British people pronouncing the lieu part with more of a V-like sound, which eventually morphed into an F-like sound. However it happened, it's another example of a military title's spelling and pronunciation not matching up at all. Well, at least here in British English anyway. Do you think there's any words out there with a bigger difference in their spelling and pronunciation than colonel? If so, let me know down in the comments below. Also, please go suggest a topic down below we could cover in next Monday's Name Explain video. It could be about literally anything, and the topic can be as niche or broad as you like. I will then choose 3 of those topics and place them on a poll for my patrons to vote on. Then the winner from that poll will be the topic covered in next Monday's Name Explain video. You can vote in that poll, as well as enjoy many other great benefits by visiting patreon.com/nameexplain, which we linked down below, and by donating just $1 a month. Thank you. Anyway, that's more than enough for myself. But don't forget to go follow me on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT. And don't forget to join the Facebook page, Friends of Name Explain, where you can chat with myself and many other name nerds. Okay all, take care. I think I've got I'm attaching it right now. Yeah, I think I've got the radiator out of the shot this time. I think we're all nice and lined up. I think we're okay. I think we're good. Should we start filming? Let's go. Colonel isn't spelled anything like the pre-popped. Yeah. Columnar, which meant column. I said column wrong. And the R in the written form being replaced with an L. That went weird. Like I said, Colonel's Okay all, take care. That felt short. Yeah, just that one felt short. You know, the old brain power isn't quite firing all cylinders right now. But that is what it is.